I hear the RSC coming down, and they're scraping from top right down to the bottom. So all who have things to hide, you could bet they coming for your backside. They done put Sylvia through the ringer, France in the blender, Maria get convict, and the busman a kick, Chanel in a mess, and Theo full of stress. And somebody tell me they hear don't have next. So who they locking up next? It done had Elko. Who they locking up next? Now they want Miss Bingo. Who they locking up next? They had Brenda Microsoft. Who they locking up next? Now GB looking for Bitcoin Rolando. If you skim or you scam the government, they coming back for every cent. Don't get vexed. Cause if you they locking up next, you next, you next. Guys, so don't worry about it. We got your back. We the Calypsonians, we love you. Have a nice time. Well, look to you. I hear the TBO hot again, and they have a list of interesting names. They say if your house big like a hotel, they gonna stop till they lock you up in a jail cell. You don't see Mark get a foot, O'Neill get a foot, Angel get a stinger, Toji get a finger, Scott get a lick, Mikey get a brick, and somebody say Kendall going get this stick, this stick, this stick. So who they locking up next? Stop the victimization. Who they locking up next? Tell them put back the water ceilings plan. Who they locking up next? And you're shortchanging me with internet. Who they locking up next? Tell Caliente.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with, of course, the sad news of the library burning down. It was a sad sight. Apparently, somebody fell asleep in there, or somebody was squatting inside. And, yeah, something happened and it burned down. Of course, the investigation is ongoing, and of course, we hope that, you know, a historic building like that was able to be saved. However, let's not kid ourselves. They didn't care about the building before. They ain't gonna care about it now. At the end of the day, you know, the library was moved to the Adolphus Richardson building and was forgotten there. Like most of the things this government forgot about. So, please, when everybody was like, it's an outrage, please, did you only notice now that the library is still empty since Irma? Please. In any case, when I was there, I was working. You know, I do a little bit of reporting on the side besides being so much of a funny man. And I was, you know, taping, you know, doing my job. And of course, Mr. 721 Paparazzi was there. And he tried to bait me. And I was the bigger person, people. I was the bigger person. Why I was the bigger person? Because while I was taping, Paparazzi was like, you see, People are following 721 News and they were following us, so that's why they are here also reporting on the news, these fakers. I was like, excuse me? This is supposed to be a politician? Or is it he's supposed to be a reporter? I didn't know. But I didn't say anything. I just continued doing my job and filming, even though I was shaking because I wanted to tell him about, everybody who we know in Curacao. But you know what? I left it alone because I was professional. And then I said, okay, I'll be petty on my show. Because that's where I could just say what I want, how I want it, because I was being a reporter yesterday. Today, I will be the funny man and say, how dare you, sir? How dare you think that 721 is the only news organization that's supposed to be taping the news? Like, what? Are you serious? Give me a break. Anyway, now that that is out of the way, please, it's either you're going to be a politician or you're going to be a newsman. If you're going to do both, then I want to know if you get elected, God forbid, if you're going to be reporting live at a scene. This is MP Gromiko Wilson. We give you 10,000 guilders to continue being a paparazzi, or you're going to be 10,000 guilders in order to do the work for the people. Which one is it? Which one is going to be? You got to pick one. You can't just flip-flop, flip-flop. You're flip-flopping before you even get elected. Is that a good sign? No. But anyway, the show is not about Gromiko, but I just wanted to sound off on that because he tried to bait me, and I know I would have bust some F-bombs to his audience, and then everybody would say, Andrew gone off, he meds again, please call mental health. So I just left him alone and didn't say anything. I was a good boy until I came here, and I was like, okay, now let me tell him how I actually feel, because I think it was a move for him to actually do that when he know I've been a journalist for almost 20 years. I even wrote stories for 721 when he just started. When I worked at the Herald, I assisted them after Irma. You forget about that? Do I have to pull up emails and show you the stories I sent to you, Gromiko? Behave yourself, man. Come on. Anyway, let's talk about vaping amongst our young people. I know it gets you uncomfortable, but yes, young people are vaping like crazy. They ain't even touching cigarettes like before. They ain't even touching weed, marijuana, like before. Vaping is the new thing, and it's starting very young. 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds are vaping like crazy. And it's very easy. You just walk into the store, a Chinese shop, and you just pick a flavor. They got apple mint, they got orange, they got all kind of different flavors, watermelon, and it's nice boxes, so it's colorful, and they just pick it and then they take it and they just go in corners and vaping, vaping, vaping. So it was a topic of discussion by our good, honorable members of parliament. It was interesting. I mean, they're about a couple years too late because it's been going on, but they had a discussion with, of course, the Minister of Nothing, Minister Rudolph Samuel of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and the meeting, that agenda topic apparently was called by MP Westcott, I believe, or one of the MPs. I don't know, but it was the Healthcare Committee, and they spoke about vaping. Well, one of the agenda points, so we'll give you those highlights today on the late night. Take a look.
My request for this meeting, indeed, the first agenda point is one regarding e-cigarettes and vaping amongst our youth. In my letter of February the 22nd of this year, to which the chairperson of the committee referred, I outlined for both ministers the issue confronting us, the issue of vaping amongst our youth, as reported extensively not only on St. Martin, but throughout the world. In my letter of February 22nd, 2023, I not only outlined and asked the ministers regarding their position and sentiments on this phenomenon, but I also outlined the many ways, in my opinion, that exist for the government and the ministers to at least start and take some kind of action as far as the curbing of this phenomenon of vaping amongst our youth is concerned. I would want to quote from my letter just the parts that reference to some of the areas that the government has, some of the items that the government has at its disposal to curb and address the issue of vaping and e-cigarettes. And I mentioned the tobacco ordinance, an existing ordinance, old nevertheless, but there is this Landsverordening beperking tabaksgebruik, that's one thing. The so-called Commodities Act, Warenverordening. There is a LB on the labeling regulations, LB, etikettering. And of course, we have our General Public Health Act. I indicated to the ministers in my letter of February that in my opinion, the Commodities Act of St. Martin provides the possibility to establish regulations on e-cigarettes by a general national decree in the interest of public health. And I continue to mention that these regulations to be issued could include the import, labeling, and sale. And then I mentioned several areas that I believe the government could employ in the matter as mentioned before. But as correctly indicated by the chairperson, by your person, Mr. Chairman, this letter registered on the IS 502 of this parliamentary year is, of course, available to all members of parliament. And in addition to that, I asked some questions of the ministers pertaining to this very same matter. And what I wanted to get from the government and the ministers and ministries involved was a sense of urgency, whether the government shares the sense of urgency that many on St. Martin, including myself, share. And I therefore want to thank the Minister of VSA who responded to the questions that I posed in my letter to him. So what I would like the minister to do today is to go in to these answers. Because while I am grateful for the answers, I would like now, and I think the answers by the minister were of the 31st of March of this year. And so I would like to know now if any steps, any further steps have been taken, if anything further has been done with what the minister responded to me. So if that is included in the presentation that the minister will give, I would be very happy to take note of that, just to remind the ministries and the public at large that of my questions, which I will do now, and then determine in how far the answers of the minister give some more information than those received on the 31st of March. So my questions were...
MP Westcott,
yes, sir?
I understand it's part of your elucidation. Mm-hmm. Can I suggest, rather than going through all the questions, we have the presentation from the minister, and I allow you to speak first immediately after the presentation of the minister, where you can go over the questions, and those that were not answered, then we go into questioning. The idea now would have been an elucidation to your request.
Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, okay, then just let me not go into the answers provided thus far, but just the 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, just that we can put those out there.
Okay.
And then not only myself, but other members of parliament can say, indeed, that one was answered, and you see what I'm saying? So the 4 questions that I have that I posed and which were answered by the minister, but I would like to repeat those questions very specifically now. And so I thank you, and I will continue. So my questions were to the minister: do you concur that vaping is an undesirable and dangerous phenomenon, especially amongst our youth? If you do you concur that it can and should be addressed urgently by one of the means mentioned above, to which I referred earlier? If not by one of the means mentioned by me, what then does the minister and ministry recommend be done if it is considered an urgent matter? And then I wanted to know what is government's view on smoking and updating the ordinance limiting tobacco use, the LV-beperking tabaksgebruik. Those were the 4 specific questions following my elucidation in the letter, and I thank you for the opportunity to introduce my request to have the ministers here this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. Ministers, you've heard the elucidation, and indeed we will see if most, if not all, of those questions are covered in your presentation. And as I just indicated, in case some have been missed, I would then give the floor to MP Westcott Williams to pose those that might have been missed, and then we open the floor to the rest of the members within the committee. To which minister shall I give the floor first? It will be the Honorable Minister Rudolph Samuel. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to the Secretary General, and good afternoon to the members of Parliament. Good afternoon to my colleague and his support staff, and also to my support that is here, the Secretary General of the Ministry. Good afternoon to those sitting in the tribune and all those listening to us by whichever medium. Mr. Chairman, on Saturday, March 25th, 2023, the Honorable Minister of Justice, Anna E. Richardson, and the Minister of ECYS, Education, Culture and Sports, myself, met with the Alpha Leo Club of St. Martin and the St. Martin Youth Parliament to discuss the usage of nicotine devices among the youth of St. Martin. The ministers were presented with a vaping proposal prepared by the students with the aim to propose several solutions in tackling the issue. The proposal also included a survey depicting a percentage of youth that engage in vaping. During the conversation, the students spoke about the ease of access to nicotine devices. To demonstrate this, one of the students bought a vape device at a local supermarket, though in the presence of a parent. All parties agreed that it was imperative that for laws to be updated in order to prohibit the sale of nicotine devices to the youth and have these enforced. Both clubs have the intention to host school conventions as well as a media campaign aimed at showing the negative impacts of using nicotine devices and with the goal to reduce its usage among their peers. So the discussion related to vaping continues, Mr. Chairman, to be high, not only among the youth, but also high on the agenda of Parliament, as well as the government of St. Martin. In my last response to the Parliament, which was during the 2023 budget debate, I informed the members of Parliament that I saw the need to engage in an interministerial approach. I also informed Parliament that the Ministry of Education, Culture and Sports, that we are engaging schools by providing them with information on vaping, its risk, and the possible signals that a student might be vaping, which I believe they already know. The suggested approach sent to me in a letter dated February 22nd, 2023, from the Honorable Member of Parliament, MP Sarah Westcott Williams, is well taken. I do concur with the Honorable MP Westcott that vaping is a dangerous phenomenon for our youth and also for others. For that reason, I have gotten the support of my colleague ministers of VSA, TEAT, and Justice to agree with an interministerial approach which is necessary to ensure that we are making adequate use of our resources, and that we have all as partners would be able to sit around the table and address this concern. The approach focuses on ensuring that the health of our youth is safeguarded. Secondly, it is essential that we create a commodity-wide awareness campaign very specifically among our school population. The engagement of our schools as key stakeholders will be vital in ensuring that the message gets to the target group. Finally, as Minister of Education, Culture and Sports, I am advocating also that the necessary law is in place to prohibit the sale of vaping devices to minors. We cannot only leave it by having a law in place, so we must also ensure that the law is enforced with all the necessary consequences thereof. I am also supporting that we utilize the platforms already established and also those of the youth to continue the dialogue to seek solutions in the interest of our youth and our children. Mr. Chairman, with this, I will await any questions from the members of Parliament.
Thank you, Minister. Next, we go to Minister Omar Atley. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to the honorable members of Parliament, my support staff, my honorable colleague. The Minister of Education touched on the plan and the interministerial committee that will be formed to tackle this. I would like to just speak on it on a VSA aspect. In 2022, the Ministry of VSA approved a 10-year strategic plan for the prevention and control of non-communicable disease called NCD Multi-Sectorial Action Plan 2021 to 2030. Tobacco use is one of the 4 key risk factors in developing NCDs. E-cigarettes should also be regulated as it contains nicotine. This has the same negative consequence as a regular cigarette. There are e-cigarettes that contain nicotine and contains addictive properties which can lead to respiratory and cardiovascular health problems and potential risk of injuries. In the same manner as it is not permitted to smoke regular cigarettes indoors, in establishments, schools, or healthcare facilities, this restriction should include vaping. The secondhand smoke has the same negative consequence. The secondhand smoke of vaping. So this is also proven. Many persons think because it's odorless that the secondhand smoke of vaping does not affect those around you, but it does. So this is very important. Plans for regulation. The Inspectorate of VSA via the Interministerial Committee will be requested to explore the possibilities to establish further regulations on e-cigarettes. This will include stricter regulations related to import, labeling, and sales of e-cigarettes, especially amongst our youth. This will be needed to be established in the LBHAM to the Commodities Act. Plans for education and outreach. The Ministry of VSA plans to improve education about vaping by public health awareness campaigns about the risk of tobacco use. Exploring the possibilities to reinstate the Healthy School program. One element of this program will be to educate school-going youths and teachers about the healthy behavior, including the risk of vaping. Implementing and enforcing the prioritized element of tobacco control regulations, for example, no smoking in the workplace or hospitality setting. Plans for monitoring. The Ministry of VSA plans to conduct population surveys to assess scope of the problem and monitor trend of vaping amongst the youth, no current local data is available at the moment. So what will we do? The plan is Health Steps Survey 2023. This survey will assess the prevalence of smoking and use of e-cigarettes amongst adults 18 to 69 as well. That is it, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to any questions from the members of Parliament.
Okay, so what have we learned? Vaping is bad. Government is still not going to do anything. And somebody probably buying a vape right now. They're buying a vape pen right now as we speak. Like while we're doing this show, somebody coming out of a Chinese shop, a youngster, taking off the top and just vaping away. Watch your kids, people. Watch your kids. Welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
So we're here with Miss Hendrika Smith, who is representing the island of Dominica in the 6th annual Miss International Elegant Mothers Pageant of 2023. Hi.
Good afternoon, St. Martin. Representing 767 Dominica, I am contestant number 4, Miss Hendrika Smith, in the Miss International Elegant Mothers Pageant 2023 to be held tomorrow, Saturday, May 13th at the Bel Air Community Center from 8 p.m. sharp.
Nice. Thank you very much for that introduction. You just did my whole job for me. So we were just discussing that this is your first time on the island of St. Martin, and we had discussed previously that this is your first time traveling for an international pageant. So how has your experience been so far traveling?
So far, my experience has been so amazing. It's not my first time participating in any pageant, but international pageant is my very first one to hit the international stage.
And
I'm
how,
loving it so far.
And how has it been with the ladies? Any tips and any tricks that you're learning as you go day to day with just the socializing with the ladies?
The ladies are pleasant. The contestants, they're good. They are sisters to me.
Nice. Very good. And then, prior to coming to St. Martin, so when you won your title in Dominica and you found out you were going to participate in St. Martin, how was that preparation process in getting you ready to travel to St. Martin? And then when you got here, how has the process been preparing for the pageant?
I never won a title in Dominica, but I always placed in different local shows. And I said that, well, seeing that I participated in many local shows and now I'm a model, it's not going to stop me in doing pageantry. So I said, let me go out there and hit the Miss International Elegant Models pageant, because models have to showcase their talents and skills, embrace other models and stuff.
Very
Positive
good.
vibes.
Nice. So I like the support.
Not because you're a model, you say you cannot go out there and show you. It's always good to be you. So.
And what is it that you're looking forward to the most for the pageant on Saturday?
The best round I'm looking for the pageant on Saturday is a talent segment. It's definitely going to be a talent to remember.
Very good. So one more time, just invite the public of St. Martin out on this Saturday to support you and your fellow contestants.
To everyone out there from St. Martin, St. Martin, I invite you all to come out in large numbers to support me and my fellow other delegates as we grace the stage on Saturday, May 13th with beauty, elegance, classy, and poise. It's definitely going to be a show to remember at the Bel Air Community Center from 8 p.m. sharp. Looking for tickets? You can find tickets at Weekenders. The contestants, we are at Cars Unique Sons Inn. Yeah.
It's time SXM presents a grand fundraising raffle taking place on Sunday, May 28th. The grand fundraising raffle. Get your tickets now for only $10. The first prize is a 55-inch smart TV. Second prize, a hotel weekend stay. Third prize, a Samsung phone. And the fourth prize, a 100 Gilda shopping voucher courtesy of Carrefour. It's going down on Sunday, May 28th. The fundraising raffle. Tickets available for only $10. Proceeds will go towards a back-to-school program.
Purchase your tickets at Creative Juices or from any of the members. Call 556-5181 or 523-8272.
It's time SXM.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.